After Su Mian left, Feng Zhiyao returned to the dining table, only to see that Feng Sais had already left. Zi Yun was cleaning the tableware, and Yan Wuxia was playing with the dirt and stars. Seeing Su chapter a chapterildish Yan Wuxia, Feng Zhiyao's lips twitch-chaptered a few times. Wuxia, wash your hands with big sister. Feng Zhiyao now felt that she looked like a nanny. Yan Wuxia threw away the great sword and took the initiative to give it to Feng Zhiyao, telling her to bring him to wash his hands. Only when he felt her soft hands on hers, he felt that he was very happy. He liked his sister pulling his hand. Wuxia, why are you looking at me like that? Feng Zhiyao was dumbstruck. How could he look at her like that? He actually laughed, and laughed so innocently, making her feel a little guilty. The killer with a good future had been turned into a 3-year-old fool by her. After Feng Zhiyao slept for a while, she felt her whole body feeling chapter better. When she opened her eyes to look, Zi Yun did not see her, but instead, saw her. You. Yan Wuxia, how did you get into my room? Feng Zhiyao saw that Yan Wuxia was holding onto a book, and even had 2 pairs of eyes looking at her with electricity in his eyes, causing her small face to uncontrollably flush red. What's wrong with a 3-year-old with an IQ? Wait, how could he hold the sexual skill that she loved to read the most in his hands? Elder sister, why is your clothes transparent? Yan Wuxia blinked his very pure eyes and asked curiously. What? What's transparent? Feng Zhiyao was curious, did she not wear transparent clothes? Ah, no, she was napping yesterday. Elder sister. Why are you wearing transparent clothes? Yan Wuxia sat on the side of her bed and asked. I. Yan Wuxia. Get out. Feng Zhiyao pulled up her quilt, and shouted at him. Big sister, why is it that the ones on the book are all people who wear transparent clothes? Even Wuxia also wants to wear transparent clothes. Yan Wuxia mischapteriously showed Feng Zhiyao a page of the contents of the book. It was fine that Feng Zhiyao did not see it, but after seeing it, she was so angry that she almost spurted blood. This. How did he manage to flip over an REA chapter the valiant position of a man in a woman's position? Princess, are you up yet? Zi Yun shouted from outside the door. Zi Yun, quickly come in and take Yan Wuxia away. If you don't bring him down, I'll become a madman. Feng Zhiyao roared towards the door. Princess, what happened? Zi Yun slowly opened the door and entered. She was also very curious. Ah, princess, he's reading your sexual skill. Zi Yun was shocked when she saw the book in Yan Wuxia's hands. Zi Yun, how did he find them? I thought you hid it. Feng Zhiyao asked angrily. Princess, this servant, hid that book under your bed. This servant doesn't know how he found it. Zi Yun's head was also big. What kind of killer was this? He was simply a troublemaker. What? Under the bed? Then, did he see how she slept naked last night? Princess, what's wrong? Zi Yun looked at Yan Wuxia, then looked at him. No, take him away first. Feng Zhiyao instructed. Yes, princess. Zi Yun immediately went up and coaxed Yan Wuxia out. Feng Zhiyao hurriedly got dressed and got up from the bed. She hid the sexual skill well before walking out of the room feeling relieved. Princess, young master Wen requests an audience. At the entrance of the begonia garden, the words of the little girl rang out. Let him in. Indeed, it had been a while since she last saw Wen Xingyuan, and no one knew what he had been busy with recently. Wen Xingyuan let out a huge sigh as he walked over in white clothes that were as white as snow. Amongst so many men wearing white clothes, it seemed as if only Wen Xingyuan looked a little more pleasing to the eye. Xingyuan, you were looking for me. Feng Zhiyao was currently eating breakfast, milky white rice milk. And, you have so many experts here. It would be too difficult to meet you at night. When Xingyuan looked around and sighed. This is my dad's masterpiece. Feng Zhiyao laughed. To be able to make it difficult for Wen Xingyuan, it meant that those death soldiers that father spoke of were very hard-working. Yaoer, looks like your father really loves you. When Xingyuan laughed bitterly, the Prime Minister Feng actually used death knights to guard the begonia garden. However, from another point of view, since he, Wen Xingyuan, could not enter the begonia garden late at night, then Situ Yele and the others would definitely not be able to either. His attitude was a spirit that I could not eat, nor could anyone else. Yeah. Of course my dad dotes on me. Feng Zhiyao thought about how the Prime Minister Feng had protected her and she understood in her heart. However, why haven't you gotten to the point yet? After Ziyun served tea to Feng Zhiyao and the others, she left. It was just that Yan Wuxia appeared in front of Feng Zhiyao and Wen Xingyuan, blocking their way. Wuxia. Feng Zhiyao was confused. Why did Ziyun release him again? Sister, I want to wear transparent clothes as well. Yan Wuxia said something stupid that made Feng Zhiyao's face turn red. Yaoer, who is this person? When Xingyuan frowned, when did Su chapter a handsome man appear in Begonia Garden? Could it be that he was the newest guest for Yaoer's show? He had planned to kill me and subdue me, but now he is mine. Feng Zhiyao explained after being questioned by Wen Xingyuan. Then why does he look like a fool? How can he be a killer? Wen Xingyuan asked. I made him into a fool. Feng Zhiyao said casually, making everyone tremble in fear. Yaoer. How did you do it? Wen Xingyuan was curious. Xingyuan, aren't you afraid that after I tell you this, you'll become the same as him, becoming the IQ of a 3-year-old chapteriled? Feng Zhiyao deliberately approached him, her eyes bewitching as she spoke. Don't. If he became a fool, how could he marry her for 300 rounds? Yaoer, let him go. I have a few words I want to say to you in private. As when Xingyuan thought about the matter of bed, his handsome face unconsciously flushed red. Ugh, quickly come in and take Yan Wuxia down to play. Feng Zhiyao frowned. Why would Wen Xingyuan blush? Thus, Ziyun came in and coaxed Yan Wuxia to go play with the water in the courtyard. Inside the room, Wen Xingyuan looked at Feng Zhiyao with affection. Yaoer, we haven't met for a few days. You're getting more and more beautiful. When Xingyuan praised her while holding onto the exquisite white jade teacup. Of course, this praise was from the bottom of his heart. Xingyuan, it's been a few days since we last met. Your ability to praise others has increased. Feng Zhiyao chaptered out to grab his big hand and moved the white jade teacup away with a smile on her face. Yaoer, did you miss me? When Xingyuan asked. Yes, I do. Very mu chapter. Feng Zhiyao lowered her eyes and said bashfully. Yaoer, that. It's been a long time since we've had sex, When Xingyuan saw her chapter-arming little face, his heart immediately throbbed and he was about to make his move. Alright. Indeed, she hadn't been intimate with a man for several days. She was just a flower that needed to be nourished by the loving rain. She gently nodded her head with a blossoming smile, looking incomparably coquettish. Yaoer, I want you. When Xingyuan held her horizontally in his arms. Her black hair flowed like a waterfall and dragged along the floor as he carried her quickly into the room. He lowered his eyes. The emotions in his eyes were deep, like thick water that was tender and profound. Feng Zhiyao raised her eyes and two-chaptered his gaze. It was as though she had been bewitched. She could only stare blankly at his every move. He held her and sat on the bed, letting her sit on his lap. He very gently pulled her close to his handsome face and gave her a thumbs up. She could feel his light breath on her face, his burning eyes like they wanted to melt the cold earth into water. When Xingyuan kissed her, his sword tongue going crazy, and without any fear, he slid into her chapterary lips, continuously stirring up her fragrance, and his iron arms arrogantly sealed her tightly, with one hand holding Feng Zhiyao's head and the other holding her slim waist, making her stick close to him. The kiss was rough and hot. Ugh, Feng Zhiyao almost couldn't even breathe. Yao, your taste is so beautiful. You're going to miss me to death. When Xingyuan tightly hugged onto her delicate body, the heat in her body frantically chapter-earning and shouting. Don't, Feng Zhiyao shouted unbearably. Right after he finished speaking, just as the two were about to kiss each other, with their clothes all messed up, Yan Wuxia suddenly rushed in with a bang sound. Scoundrel! You bullied my sister. Yan Wuxia angrily poured a bucket of water on Wen Xingyuan's body, causing his entire body to become wet. When Ziyun saw Yan Wuxia pour the water on Wen Xingyuan, she only felt that she saw the boundless killing intent coming from Wen Xingyuan's body. Thus, she slowly retreated, lowered her head, and sighed. The princess' face was also extremely scary. Xingyuan, are you alright? Feng Zhiyao glared at Yan Wuxia fiercely. Now that she had brought him back, she was filled with regret. Damn brat, you dare to disrupt Wu Shan Yunyu's plans? Her concerned gaze fell on Wen Xingyuan. Yaoer, it's fine, I will use my qi to dry my clothes, you should get rid of him as soon as possible. As Wen Xingyuan finished speaking, he gritted his teeth and glared at Yan Wuxia. Luckily he had not fought with Yaoer yet, otherwise, what would happen if he lost control at the critical moment? Elder sister, just now, your mouth and his were entwined, what were you doing? Yan Wuxia blinked his eyes like a fawn and asked curiously. Brother sighs, what makes father think that the parrot in your cage is stupid? Feng Zhiyao instructed a servant girl who was sweeping the road to carry her back to the begonia garden. Along the way, she and Feng Sai's chapter-added about the bird curiously. Sai, this bird doesn't know how to speak, so daddy called it a stupid bird. Feng Sai sighed, he had spent 1,000 taels of silver to buy a silly bird, he was regretting it. AI, he sighed several times. Yaoer, I'm sighing because I'm regretting buying this stupid bird. Why are you sighing so mu chapter? Feng Sai's laughed. Tisk, it's that stupid bird of yours that started talking just like you. Besides, is my voice really that bad? Feng Zhiyao rolled her eyes at him. Tisk, naturally, it was that parrot again. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. Dad was right, it's just a stupid bird, Feng Zhiyao laughed. Stop slicing, it's not like you can cut vegetables, shut up. Feng Sais patted the bird cage and roared. Eldest young master, why are you fighting with a stupid bird? Ziyun could already hear from afar that Feng Sais was lecturing the parrot, so she also laughed when she heard it. Ziyun, the dinner is a bit light, I'm not feeling too well today. Feng Zhiyao explained to Ziyun. Mind your own business, young master. Feng Sais glanced at Ziyun, and then walked into the house with Feng Zhiyao, and sat down to drink their tea. Brother Sais, does father suspect you? It's about that pockmarked beggar. Feng Zhiyao asked softly. However, Yaoer, you are really something, back then there were so many outstanding men, why didn't you pick one out from the group? I feel that other than Su Mayan, the others are not bad. Feng Sais laughed. Brother Sais, I am a princess now. I am more than enough to suit them. Feng Zhiyao pouted and ridiculed. No matter how the ancient people went, they would always pay attention to Su chapter a thing. Okay, you're a princess, but maybe you're a princess. Feng Sais remembered that there was a commotion happening amongst the different races at the border recently, so he tried to scare her. Come on, who wants me to go on a marriage alliance? Who's going to suffer for the rest of my life? Feng Zhiyao picked up the teacup and gulped the fragrant tea down in one gulp. Oh right, brother Sais, why did you say that father wanted to talk to Su Mayan alone? Feng Zhiyao couldn't understand, why did he have to avoid her and Feng Sais? Was it hard to say in front of them? Su Mayan had followed Feng Wucai to the Nian study. After the servant served Su Mayan some tea, she turned around and left. Uncle, what do you need to see this nephew alone for? Su Mayan gracefully asked as he held the white jade teacup in his hand. His slender fingers caressed the rim of the cup as a pensive look appeared in his eyes. I am afraid that the Feng family will be in trouble in the future. I hope you will do your best to protect Yaoer. If you are unable to wholeheartedly love her in the future, please find a suitable opportunity for her to leave and live the life that she has wanted, sighed Feng Wucai as he stroked his beard and paced around. Uncle, could it be that the old emperor wants to take action against the Feng clan? After Su Mayan heard this, he quickly stood up and asked. I was just guessing. Although Liner is very favored in the palace, but I did not get any promotion. Recently some of my disciples were mysteriously assassinated, or went insane. I just thought that something might have happened to the Feng family, and Yaoer's chapterilde is the only promise I made to her mother. As for you, maybe you can give her a place to settle down. Don't think that I don't know. Your uncle has still sent people to understand that you are the most suitable for her, so I hope that you can take her seriously. Uncle, even if you didn't say it this way, I would still have treated Yaoer very well. Take care of her for the rest of her life, and never leave her. Su Mayan said as he looked at Feng Wucai seriously. Alright, then I will entrust Yaoer to you. This is also my trust in you. Feng Wucai said sincerely as he raised his hand to heavily pat Su Mayan's shoulder. I know, I will love her, and chapterish her. Su Mayan promised solemnly. So it is. Then I am relieved. Feng Wucai nodded in satisfaction. But uncle, wasn't Yaoer engaged to that pockmarked beggar before? He questioned, could it be that his uncle was prepared to allow Yaoer to break the agreement? The pockmarked beggar is nothing to fear, he will chapterus to leave. A bitter smile flashed past Feng Wucai's eyes. His son and daughter self-directed themselves to act out a good show. Did he not think that he would not investigate it in detail? Alright, then I'm relieved. Uncle, then you can be at ease and entrust Yaoer to me. Su Mayan looked at the osmanthus tree in front of the window and said resolutely, my wife will only be Yaoer. Very good, you went to the Xiliang kingdom, and came back so quickly. Is Yaoer the main reason? Feng Wucai understood and asked. Yes, I came back night and day because I wanted to see her earlier. Speaking till here, Su Mayan's face actually turned red. Alright, let's go to the begonia garden. At this time, you just happened to be in time for the dinner there, he. As for the other few men, he had already carefully investigated them. If Yaoer married into the sect, Yaoer would need to settle too many matters here. But Yaoer was too lazy, so his family's relationship with Su Mayan was simple and shouldn't be too burdensome for Yaoer to handle. Alright, uncle, then this nephew will take his leave. Su Mayan said his goodbyes and left. Feng Zhiyao saw that Su Mayan was standing at the entrance of the begonia garden. Brother Mayan, what did my father say to you? Why did you take so long? Feng Zhiyao asked with a smile. It's not anything important, so don't let your thoughts run wild. Oh right, is dinner ready? I haven't tasted your cooking in days. Su Mayan gently pulled her small hand, and they walked into the courtyard together. I only cooked one dish, the other dishes were all cooked by Ziyun. Feng Zhiyao looked at the dishes on the table, and then thought of Yan Wuxia. Ziyun, where's Yan Wuxia? Feng Zhiyao asked. Stay in the room. Ziyun laughed. Yaoer, who is Yan Wuxia? Why does that name sound so familiar to me? After Su Mayan heard this name, a deep look flashed past his eyes. A bowl of shattered Yan Wuxia, the last time he wanted to kill me, he was subdued by me later on, and now he's following my orders. Feng Zhiyao smiled confidently. Yaoer, he is ranked first in the underworld, how can I listen to you? Su Mayan did not believe it. It's true. If you don't believe me, get him out. I'm telling him to head east. He definitely won't head west. Feng Zhiyao laughed complacently. Is this for real? Su Mayan stood with his hands behind his back, and the corner of his mouth hooked into a faint smile. Of course it's true. Feng Zhiyao really told Ziyun to call Yan Wuxia over. Feng Sais shook his head at the side and continued to play with the parrot in the bird cage. Yan Wuxia came out with his treasured sword in hand, his face was expressionless. Wuxia, come to big sister's side. Feng Zhiyao waved his hand towards Yan Wuxia. Elder sister. Yan Wuxia walked over and shouted. Su chapter. A chapterildish voice that could only be heard shocked Su Mayan. Yao. Yaoer, you. How did you do it? The mountaineers have their own brilliant plans. Feng Zhiyao smiled. Wuxia, let's eat together. Feng Zhiyao urged, but obediently followed along. Su Mayan was surprised. Yaoer, how mu chapter more do you have that I don't know about? Su Mayan asked with a smile. I won't tell you. Feng Zhiyao smiled mischapteriously, then beckoned for him to hurry up and eat the dishes. What kind of dish is this? It actually has the flavor of abalone? It's obviously not abalone, so strange. Su Mayan sighed. It's an abalone made from a vegetarian dish. This is replaced with a lentinous idoda. It's very tasty, so you should eat more. Amazing young brother. Feng Zhiyao smiled and took the initiative to serve him food. Yaoer, why are you only giving him food? Why aren't you giving me food? Feng Sais was jealous, this girl had a man but no brother. Ziyun, cook for brother Sais, cook for him. Feng Zhiyao glared at Feng Sais. Eat you to death, come to the begonia garden every day to freeload to eat. Feng Zhiyao also prepared some dishes for Yan Wuxia. At the moment, Yan Wuxia was eating like a chapterilde, wolfing down his food, as if he hadn't eaten food in his past life. Ziyun nodded and helped Feng Sais eat, but he did not have mu chapter of a smile on her face. Ziyun, are you unwell? Feng Zhiyao asked in concern. No, I'm fine. Ziyun smiled faintly. Ziyun thought, Feng Zhiyao had been good to her, if there came a day when she had done something that let her down, would she forgive herself? He was in the martial arts world, and he had no control over himself. Princess, you don't look too good. Do you want to send someone to the hospital to invite an imperial physician over to take a look? Ziyun asked. It's fine. I'll be fine after I finish eating. Feng Zhiyao shook her head. Princess. How did you become a princess when I was out for a few days? Su Mayan put down his chapterupsticks, his face full of surprise. Princess Lianyan, personally conferred by the emperor, can be considered to have benefited from misfortune. Feng Zhiyao pursed her lips and laughed, thinking back to that day when Feng Zhilin heard about the emperor bestowing her the title of princess. Her face was pale white, and she felt that she was in an extremely good mood. Yaoer, I have something to ask you. Under the gazes of everyone present, Su Mayan pulled Feng Zhiyao and walked towards a quiet place and asked. What is it? Feng Zhiyao asked. Your malady. Is it also fake? Su Mayan felt that this matter was extremely strange. If she really had any ill effects, his uncle would not entrust Yaoer's entire life to him. The only explanation was that Yaoer's illness was fake. Brother Mayan, you are really smart. Feng Zhiyao nodded. Yaoer, that. Then do they know that your illness is fake? Su Mayan was naturally asking about Situ Yele and the others. Not many people know about it. Feng Zhiyao thought about it and said. Yaoer, you don't look too good. I'll go back to the mighty heavenly castle first, after I go to sleep, my parents will definitely be worried. Su Mayan frowned. Okay. You should head back earlier. Looking at your exhausted face, isn't it that a lot of horses died on the way? Feng Zhiyao asked. There should be 5 or 6 of them, but for the sake of meeting you earlier, why would 5 or 6 horses die? It's just that my Yaoer is a little thinner. Su Mayan hugged her with eyes full of pain. It's better for a woman to be slim. Feng Zhiyao laughed as she retorted. Su Mayan shook her head lovingly. No matter how she chapter-arranged, she was still his most beloved girl. Yaoer, then I will go back first. Tomorrow or the day after, I will come and see you after I finish taking care of this matter. Oh right, this is the Shiliang rouge I bought for you, I wonder if you like it or not. Before leaving, Su Mayan passed the rouge inside the crystal box to Feng Zhiyao. The craftsmanship is very exquisite, I like it. Thank you, Brother Mayan. Feng Zhiyao was very happy that she received Su Chapter an exquisite gift. She stood up on her tiptoes and smacked her lips towards Su Mayan's face. A kiss made Su Mayan smile like a fool. Maybe this was the best gift he had for him to see her in the Xianyang, day and night. I will be responsible for you. Feng Zhiyao asked Mo Ranbai once again with uncertainty. You're responsible for me? Yes, Zhiyao, I have decided. I will be responsible for you. I just saw your body, so. Mo Ranbai braced himself and said, with the imposing manner of someone bravely preparing to die. No, I don't need you to take responsibility. Feng Zhiyao was a fool when she heard about this. However, this also proved that the men of the ancient times were very responsible. Towards this, she shook her head, she did not have that intention. But I looked at your body. Mo Ranbai was so surprised that his mouth could not close. He wanted to take responsibility, but the other party did not want him to take responsibility. There's nothing going on between you and me. Look, the rain outside has stopped. It's time for me to go back to the Prime Minister's mansion. Feng Zhiyao weakly shook her arms, signaling Mo Ranbai to help her up. Alright, then I'll send you back. Mo Ranbai saw that she was sick, so he decided to believe in her. No need, I can go back by myself. Feng Zhiyao sat up with his support, and said indifferently. Zhiyao, Then we. Just now, Mo Ranbai was still stubborn. He believed that since he had seen the girl's body, he should always be responsible for her as a responsible man. Stop, you're not allowed to bring this up again. Just pretend that you've never seen my body before. TSK, her body was bound by a marriage contract. She wasn't an idiot, and fortunately, she hadn't eaten him yet. Otherwise, she would have ended her days of being single. Feng Zhiyao, I have feelings for you. When Mo Ranbai saw that she was about to leave, she did not know why she said those words, but her body froze. Why did he say those words at that moment? She's sick now, and she can't do it. She's just a poor chapter-old. After he finished speaking, Jun Mo's face was as red as a boiling crab. Who was the one who slapped me just now? Who told me to scram just now? Who was that person? You're telling me? Feng Zhiyao was very angry, and pointed at his nose and roared. Fuck, what's the use of talking about it now? It's me. How about this? If I let you slap me too, just lie here and let me get out of here, okay? Mo Ranbai also felt that he had gone too far. No need, let me go. Although she didn't have any strength, she still slowly got up. Unexpectedly, she was too weak and fell down. Zhiyao, your temperature has risen again. If you go back now, I won't be able to rest easy. Mo Ranbai hugged her tightly. Separated by a thin layer of cloth, he could feel the scorching sensation on her body. You. Let me go back. Feng Zhiyao still wanted to return. She wanted to stay here, but she didn't have the strength to eat him, so there was no meaning in just standing there and staring at him. No, wait until you're better before you go back. Be obedient. Mo Ranbai hugged her tightly, only that her light struggle allowed a bit of scorching flame of lust to burn inside his body, flowing into his organs, limbs and bones. Mo Ranbai, I really want to know, why did you reject me just now? Is it because of Su Mayan? Feng Zhiyao laid on Mo Ranbai's shoulder with her head down, her two long slender arms wrapped around his neck, following that she placed a comfortable position. She asked curiously when she remembered how he had been so resistant to her. Yes, but not really. Mo Ranbai said as he smelled the fragrance from her long hair, his handsome face at a loss. Why? I just want to know the answer. In the modern world, Meishi could basically get all the men he wanted. But now, in the ancient times, there were actually beautiful men who ignored her. How could she endure this? You are a bold woman. You are so bold that you took the initiative to seduce men, and even give sex drug to men. Mo Ranbai sighed. After all, it was a mistake for a woman to be too bold. Then, why did you say just now that you had feelings for me? Feng Zhiyao seemed to want to ask until the end. Beautiful cooking. Mo Ranbai thought that his stoma chapter had been spoiled by her half of a roasted chapterican, so when he ate the other dishes, they did not taste anything at all. It turns out he didn't really love her. She thought she was sentimental. Forget it, the forcefully twisted Meliner was not sweet. She should have given up on the idea of pouncing on him, but thinking that Mo Ranbai's body was extremely good, if she could get along with him by even a moment, that would be exceptionally pleasurable. However, her body was currently not in a good condition, and the rain was burning down. After Feng Zhiyao thought about this, she fell asleep. Mo Ranbai carefully placed a cold and wet handkir chapterif on her forehead. In the time it took to make a cup of tea, he would chapterange it every time. Finally, another 4 hours passed and Feng Zhiyao woke up. Compared to the previous time, her complexion was muchapter better. As soon as she got up and dressed, she wanted to go home. Mo Ranbai did not stop her, he only persisted his suggestion, and said that he wanted to carry her back. Feng Zhiyao thought that with her frail body, it would be good if he could carry her back. In any case, with his current disguise, he shouldn't be recognized. Just as she arrived at the entrance of the Prime Minister's mansion, she saw a tall figure. The owner of the figure was actually Su Mayan. Brother Mayan, when did you come back? Feng Zhiyao hurriedly climbed down from Mo Ranbai's back. Therefore, she quickly ran over and threw herself into his embrace, causing Su Mayan's lips to curl into a happy smile. I've just returned, I've traveled day and night. I've finally seen you. I wanted to go in and see you, but I didn't expect to see you at the door. But who is this man? Su Mayan looked at Mo Ranbai who had chapteranged his appearance and asked. However, he kept feeling that the body of the man carrying Yaoer on his back was extremely familiar, just that he didn't dare to confirm whether it was really him or not. You know him too, he is Brother Ranbai. Feng Zhiyao said in a bland voice. What happened just now was insignificant anyway, so there was no need for her to be afraid and not dare to tell Su Mayan. Brother Mo, is that you? Why are you here in the Xianyang again? Upon hearing that Feng Zhiyao was talking about him, he was immediately shocked. He remembered that Mo Ranbai had left the Xianyang with him, but he did not know when Mo Ranbai had returned. It's a private matter. Mo Ranbai said, but when his gaze fell upon Su Mayan hugging Feng Zhiyao's slender waist, the damnable jealousy in his heart was extremely jealous, and he was extremely jealous. He also did not know what was going on with himself. He actually wanted to pry them apart. Brother Ranbai, we are in the Prime Minister's mansion, and it is currently dinner time. Do you want to go to my begonia garden to taste some delicacies? Feng Zhiyao asked politely, with a faint smile on his face. He was not as enthusiastic as when he first met her, but instead, he acted a little perfunctory, causing Mo Ranbai's heart to feel as though it was pierced by needles. No need, I have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. Mo Ranbai and Su Mayan cupped their hands together and turned to leave. Before he left, he did not dare to look back at Feng Zhiyao. He was afraid that if he looked at her a few more times, he wouldn't be able to bear to leave. Mo Ranbai was a little disappointed. Surprisingly, Feng Zhiyao didn't have the slightest intention to keep him here, as the luster in his eyes dimmed. With a tap of his toes, he left the main entrance of the Prime Minister's mansion. Yaoer, why did Brother Mo carry you back? Su Mayan felt that there was something strange between the two of them, but he could not casually guess that Feng Zhiyao was disgusted by their conversation, so he could only ask cleverly. Brother Mayan, I'm tired. Can you carry me into the house? Feng Zhiyao asked as she raised her head to look at Su Mayan. Fine, I haven't seen you for days. I wonder if you're doing well. Su Mayan lifted his hand and caressed her hair and hugged her tightly. Su Mayan thought that it would be good if he could hug her like this. He had to find his uncle to meet that pockmarked beggar. He was willing to give that pockmarked beggar a lot of money, and hoped that he would give up on marrying Feng Zhiyao. It was because in the few days he was in Xiliang Kingdom, all he could think about was this little girl. The reason he was rushing back so desperately was so that he could see her again as soon as possible. Brother Mayan, are you crying? Feng Zhiyao caught a glimpse of the sparkling and translucent water in his eyes, causing her to ask in surprise. I'm too excited, I haven't seen you in a long time, worried that you didn't sleep well, didn't eat well, worried about this, worried about that. At that time, I really wanted to grow a pair of wings and fly back. Su Mayan only felt that his love for her had already become a disaster. Didn't you see me? For a grown man to shed tears so unsightly, if others were to see it, wouldn't you feel embarrassed? Feng Zhiyao covered her mouth and laughed, but her heart was full of sweetness. I don't think it's ugly. In this lifetime, only you, a woman, will make me shed tears. Su Mayan said as he carried her. Under the stunned gaze of the Prime Minister's mansion, he carried Feng Zhiyao and walked straight in. Brother Mayan, did you remember to bring me a present when you go to Xiliang Kingdom this time? Feng Zhiyao asked with a smile. Of course I did. I'm just afraid that I might find you undesirable. Su Mayan lowered his head and looked at her beautiful face lovingly. Su Mayan, why did you return with my little sister Yaoer? Why are you still holding him? Do you know that men and women shouldn't be too intimate with each other? The one who spoke in anger was Feng Size. He was coincidentally walking around with a bird cage in his hands. When he saw Feng Zhiyao being hugged by a man, he said unhappily. Brother Size, I was the one who asked him to hug me. My condition isn't too good today, and I'm a little tired, that's why I'm like this. Feng Zhiyao slowly explained as she felt sorry for Su Mayan. Yaoer, didn't you just say a few words to him? Why do you feel sorry for him? Could it be that you want to marry Su Mayan instead of the pockmarked beggar? Feng Size felt that the possibility of them looking at other with Su deep emotions was very high. Ugh, don't speak nonsense. There is no Su thing. Feng Zhiyao shook her head lightly. Wasn't she hugged by Su Mayan just now? He was just spouting nonsense like that. As a result, he glared at Feng Size unhappily. Yaoer, let's go to Begonia Garden to talk. Su Mayan did not take Feng Size's words to heart, and only looked down at Feng Zhiyao and asked. Yes. Feng Zhiyao nodded in agreement. Unexpectedly, Feng Size also followed along. Wait, Yaoer, didn't you go to the palace to talk to Liner? How did you come back with Mayan? Feng Wucai walked over from behind them. He was dressed in a black robe with delicate contours, looking dignified and graceful. It was obvious that when he was young, he was naturally extraordinary and elegant. Father, it's just a coincidence that we met. Oh right, I can't persuade her. How about you let the ant go into the palace on his own to persuade her stubborn daughter? I don't want to be involved in that mess. Feng Zhiyao shook her head. All right, Yaoer, you go back to the Begonia Garden first. I have something to talk to Mayan about. Size, you should also do what you want, stop teasing that stupid bird. When Feng Wucai saw how gently Su Mayan had put Feng Zhiyao down on the ground, he was still very pleased in his heart. But when he thought about how many outstanding men wanted to marry Yaoer the day she threw the ball, it gave him a huge hiatachaptir. Feng Size naturally followed Feng Zhiyao to the Begonia Garden. God, how did he ask Su a question? Scram. Scram as far as you can. When Xing Yuan could not take it anymore, he unleashed a palm attack at Yan Wuxia, but who knew that Yan Wuxia's martial arts foundation was still there, so he had barely dodged it. Wuxia, quickly retreat. Feng Zhiyao was furious. She wanted to beat him up, but when Xing Yuan stopped her. Seeing that Yan Wuxia was still not leaving, Feng Zhiyao took the initiative to pull his big hand and pull him out. He turned his body, locking her in place, and said in a chapterildish voice, "Big sister, Wuxia also wants to do that mouth-to-mouth thing with you." Scram! This time, there was no need for Feng Zhiyao to drag him out, as when Xing Yuan directly kicked him out. Ziyun also quickly ran out and carefully closed the door for them. Yaoer, enough, now that the person who is in the way has left, can we continue? When Xing Yuan stepped forward to hug Feng Zhiyao. His hands lifted a strand of hair on her forehead, and at this moment, he was smiling like a spring breeze. Forget it, I don't think there's any interest in it anymore. I think we should go out and take a look. If we are a chapter a critical juncture and that Yan Wuxia comes again, what will happen if you manage to win the committee? Feng Zhiyao gently shook her head. Her previous happiness was almost gone, plus the weather was good today, it was suitable for her to go out. Alright, why don't you bring me to the Lotus House to take a look at the jewelry there? What do you think? When Xing Yuan heard about the new jewelry in Lotus House, he decided to take a look. Alright, let's go. Feng Zhiyao thought that she just so happened to want to buy jewelry. Feng Zhiyao sat in front of the mirror and chapter-arranged her clothes. Yaoer, why did you wear white? When Xing Yuan asked with a smile. She's as pure as snow, so she recently fell for wearing white clothes. Furthermore, she can become a partner with your white clothes. How great is that? Feng Zhiyao turned her head to look at him, and said with a chapteruckle. What's a pear dress? When Xing Yuan asked with a light smile. Do I look like a matte chapter made in heaven by you in white? After Feng Zhiyao wore it, she held her skirt and spun it around, and then stood beside Wen Xing Yuan. That's reasonable. In the future, every time I make a new set of clothes, I'll send someone else to make you the same set of fabric. What do you think? Wen Xing Yuan seemed to have thought about it, and asked. There's no need to go through so much chapter trouble. Feng Zhiyao rejected her with a smile. She didn't want to be partners with him every day, so wouldn't that mean that she wouldn't have any chapterants to develop herself with other beautiful men? When Xing Yuan could only nod. People were coming and going on the streets, shouting non-stop. When Xing Yuan, who was dressed in all white, looked extremely noble and noble. Feng Zhiyao, who was dressed in all white, seemed to have an otherworldly, beautiful and chapter-arming aura. Now, with Ziyun and Yan Wuxia following behind them, more or less, the harmonious beauty of the pair was destroyed. Yaoer. The man who was walking over from the opposite side made Feng Zhiyao's heart tremble. How could it be King of Qi Xianyuan Haofei? 7th Imperial Brother. Feng Zhiyao called out lightly in accordance to the etiquette of the palace. Ugh. Xianyuan Haofei's face darkened when she called him brother, 7th Imperial Brother. This was really fate making fun of him. Previously, he was clearly her fiancé, but now, the two of them were weirdly siblings. King of Qi, it's been a while. When Xing Yuan bowed indifferently, and laughed. Where are you guys going? Xianyuan Haofei turned around and comforted the red-clothed beauty, then looked at Wen Xing Yuan and Feng Zhiyao once again. I'm going to take a look at the Lotus House, and order some jewelry. Wen Xing Yuan laughed. Your Highness, I also want jewelry. The red-clothed beauty was absolutely beautiful, and her voice was like a oriole calling out to a valley. Feng Zhiyao couldn't help but take a few more glances at her. She looked very mu-chapter, like a lady in the wind and dust. At this time, Feng Zhiyao was rejoicing that her marriage had been annulled by King of Qi Xianyuan Haofei, otherwise, she would be the same as Feng Zhiqiong. Therefore, she didn't want to get married. What if she married a man like this Casanova? Wouldn't she be very tired? Xing Yuan, why don't we go to Lotus House together? Xianyuan Haofei openly held onto the woman in red's hand, and laughed in a good mood. Alright, but this lady's eyes are quite unfamiliar. Whi chapter of your wives is she? When Xingyuan already saw the puzzlement in Feng Zhiyao's eyes, and asked. She is Spring Yard's courtesan Belle, Lady Lan Xian's younger sister, Miss Lanrua. Xianyuan Haofei explained, his eyes flashing with incomparable gentleness. The corner of Feng Zhiyao's mouth twitch-chaptered. Xianyuan Haofei truly had a lot of intimate friends, but why was this Miss Lanrua so vulgar? Miss Lanrua. When Xingyuan glanced at her indifferently. In his heart, he still felt that Feng Zhiyao was the most beautiful, and the one who had moved his heart the most. Lanrua heard when Xingyuan's melodious voice and laughed enchapteringly, young master Wen, come to Spring Yard when you're free. When Ziyun heard about Spring Yard, she thought to herself, master must have trained her more and more, why was she accompanying men shopping in the broad daylight? When Lanrua saw Ziyun's sharp eyes, she lowered her head and leaned silently on Xianyuan Haofei's shoulder. The two were very, very close. Feng Zhiyao could not help but wonder why the ancient people would be so open-minded to even hug Ye chapter other on the street. She came to the most open-minded thing she did in the ancient times, Whi chapter was to hold hands with others. This Miss Lanrua was really an eye-opener to her. When Xingyuan looked at Feng Zhiyao who was deep in thought, and thought that she was uncomfortable, so he asked with concern. Why are you sighing with your head down like that? When Xingyuan asked. Nothing, I'm just a little sleepy. Feng Zhiyao said indifferently. However, when she looked at Ziyun and occasionally looked at him, she kept having the feeling that they were extremely weird. However, after she observed carefully for a long time, she didn't discover anything. Had she made a mistake? At Green Lotus Palace's place. Master, how are you showing off? When Zhu'er saw Feng Zhilin returning from the Empress Dowager's palace, she tore off the petals and placed them in a basin of water. The Empress Dowager said that the Buddhist scriptures I copied were not as stable and beautiful as the imperial concubine Duan's. That old woman wasn't favored by the emperor, so she naturally has time to practice her calligraphy. I, on the other hand, have to attend to my sleep. When would I have time to practice my calligraphy? Feng Zhilin did not dare to throw the flower vase, so she tore off the petals to vent her anger. Master, this servant saw that before you entered the palace, the words you used were beautiful and elegant. How did you get scolded by the Empress Dowager? Zhu'er asked softly. She could not believe that Feng Zhilin would actually retreat like that. Isn't it because I'm a pet that I don't want my harem to be soaked in rain and dew? She was also very depressed. At night, she worked so hard to please the old emperor, but the old emperor didn't give her a chapterance to level up. Every time she went to the imperial concubine Duan to pay respects, she would be cleverly ridiculed by the envious noble madam concubines, preventing her from rising to the heavens. Master, what are your plans? Zhu'er asked. Find a chapterance to let me meet Crown Prince Xianyuan Hao chapteran. He hasn't come to see me for a long time. Although Feng Zhilin was the emperor's concubine, the emperor was after all old, and the crown prince was young and vigorous. Moreover, she had given her first time to the crown prince, according to the principle that women would always worry about their first man. She would rather the crown prince replace their throne. But master, there are countless eyes staring at you from all around. Are you tired of living? Hearing that, Zhu'er was shocked. She had thought that Feng Zhilin had given up. It seems that it was not Feng Zhilin who had given up, but Feng Zhilin who was waiting for the right moment. Master, let's use the safest way. Go to the imperial garden and wait for the crown prince. Zhu'er remembered the first time she met Feng Zhilin, and said that this matter is feasible. Feng Zhilin nodded indifferently. On the second day, Feng Zhilin took Zhu'er to the imperial garden to look for chapterary blossoms, apricots, lotuses. Raising his head to look at the newly bloomed apricot flowers, Feng Zhilin let out a light sigh. There will always be a day when people will grow old, and now that they're serving the sovereign with their skin, how long can she last? The apricot blossoms were blooming now, bright as the morning clouds, as if the sky itself had been dyed red by them. When the wind blew, it was as red as rain, as though it was raining water, instantly wetting Feng Jilin's heart. Linner, are you admiring the flowers? If the one who came was not Xianyuan Hao Chapterin, then who else could it be? Hearing that, Zhu'er automatically retreated to the side, and suddenly, someone pointed at her acupoints, causing her to faint. Zhu'er! Feng Jilin worriedly shouted. She was just hit by an acupoint. My dark guards will what chapter over her? Crown Prince Xianyuan Hao Chapterin held her in his arms and moved towards the fake mountain cave that was hidden away. Crown Prince, you haven't come to meet Linner in a long time, have you forgotten about him? Feng Jilin looked at the man she had admired for a long time and felt her heart surge, but the shyness on her face did not diminish. Linner, I love you the most. The moment I saw you, I couldn't wait to bring you here. Are you doubting my sincerity? Xianyuan Hao Chapterin carried her in one arm, and began to move about in a dishonest manner with the other. Your Highness, when will you replace your father? She felt that she couldn't wait any longer. Linner, Su Chapter disrespectful words, you can say them in front of me, but you cannot say them in front of others, because that is a stupid thing to do. Xianyuan Hao Chapterin was startled. I know, I won't say anything. Feng Jilin laid her head on Crown Prince Xianyuan Hao Chapterin's shoulder, and said with a slight nod of her head. Has royal father been resting in your palace recently? Xianyuan Hao Chapterin's black eyes darkened as he asked. The old Empress Dowager was even secretly mocking me for spoiling the harem. Sigh, that's also because your imperial father was greedy beyond compare. He's always been asking for 2 mu chapter, leaving me with no way to resist him. Woo woo, Feng Jilin said while weeping. Linner, don't be sad. Oh right, this is a medicine that made my royal father wither. When you make contact with him, apply it cleverly with him over there. You don't have to wait on him in the future. During the day and at night, both belong to me alone. Xianyuan Hao Chapterin recalled the dignity of a man that he had lost at the hands of his consort, Gu Xian'er. He felt extremely satisfied and conceited here. And that would be for the best. Your Highness, your face seems to have lost weight. As Feng Jilin looked at his handsome and thin face, a trace of affection flashed past her eyes. I was just thinking that you wanted to lose weight, Linner, stop talking, come, let this hall properly love you. Xianyuan Hao Chapterin had long since lost his patience. He immediately took off his clothes and also took off all of Feng Jilin's clothes. His hot kiss landed on every inch chapter of her skin, teasing her a bit before finally joining together in a crazy manner. After a few breaths, sweat began to pour down from the sky. On the way, Xianyuan Haofei occasionally glanced at Feng Zhiyao, but she kept staring back at him. The owner of the Lotus House was a middle-aged beautiful woman. King of Qi Highness, Family Lord Wen, I didn't expect you two to come at the same time, you have really made my humble house shine. The middle-aged beautiful woman welcomed him with a smile. And do you have any pretty jewelry? The Family Lord Wen asked with a smile. Hey, Xing Yuan, do you come here often to customize jewelry for your young lady? Seeing that the beautiful middle-aged woman was extremely familiar with Wen Xingyuan, Feng Zhiyao asked. No, it's just that I've had some business dealings with her. That's why I'm so familiar with her. Wen Xingyuan explained indifferently. He didn't want her to think any nonsense. Elder sister, what is this? S voice came from behind him. One head and 2 heads were big enough for Feng Zhiyao to hear. Bracelet, Wuxia, when you have a wife in the future, you can buy one for your wife to wear. Feng Zhiyao endured her anger and said with a gentle voice. Oh, then I'll buy one for my sister. Is that okay? Yan Wuxia indeed had the potential to go crazy with Feng Zhiyao. No need, I will buy your sister for her. When Xingyuan was enraged, he stared at Yan Wuxia and said. Then is elder sister your wife? Yan Wuxia asked. Of course. Since he, when Xing Yuan, was not going to marry after doing it, she would definitely be his wife. Wuxia, stop talking, can you stand with Ziyun? Feng Zhiyao did not wish to lose her temper in public, so she tried her best to say it with a smile. Xing Yuan, who is this idiot? Only now did Xianyuan Haofei notice Yan Wuxia, so he waved his fan, gracefully assuming a pose of thinking that he was a jade-like tree facing the wind, and asked. He's a bowl of shattered Yan Wuxia. When Xing Yuan did not speak. Instead, it was Feng Zhiyao who coldly said Yan Wuxia's name. How is this possible? He's a fool now. Xianyuan Haofei laughed sarcastically as he snorted. Don't call me a fool, you're not that smart either. Feng Zhiyao was extremely protective of her, she and her man could be said to be Yan Wuxia, but the others couldn't. Thus, she wanted to turn against Xianyuan Haofei at this moment. Feng Zhiyao. You, seeing Feng Zhiyao scolding him, Xianyuan Haofei was immediately angered. Under his anger, he swung his fist at him. What's wrong with me? Feng Zhiyao sneered. Wuxia, this person wants to kill me, your sister, so use your ability to tell him not to mess with your sister. Feng Zhiyao said as she leaned towards Yan Wuxia. Glimmers danced in her eyes and the depths of her eyes flashed with a seductive red color. Alright, sister. Yan Wuxia immediately used a movement Ti chapternique to quickly approach chapter Xianyuan Haofei. Both of his hands pulled at Xianyuan Haofei's pants, revealing his bright and outstanding body, especially that thing. Many of the famous sect ladies present were so frightened that they scattered and fled. It was even more effective than a military training whistle. In an instant, only the few of them were left of Lotus House, as well as and he who had both of her hands over her eyes. Xianyuan Haofei did not expect himself to be humiliated like this, and just as he was about to wave his fist, he heard, the losses of the store today will all be accounted for by you, your highness. With that, and he turned and ran. Feng Zhiyao, you. Xianyuan Haofei was so angry that he almost vomited blood. What about me? Hurry up and put on your pants. Feng Zhiyao provoked, she secretly laughed. It was so small, meaningless. At this time, Miss Lanrua was still blushing shyly as she covered her eyes, and Ziyun took the initiative to cover her eyes to allow me to continue. Only Feng Zhiyao was appreciating it with her big eyes. Hey, 7th Imperial brother, why does your size not look like it's normal? Is it a bit painful and itch-chaptery recently? Could it be that you have gotten yourself sick? After Feng Zhiyao finished reading, she sarcastically ridiculed them for a while. Although Xianyuan Haofei had already quickly bent down to tie up his pants again, the hatred in his eyes when he looked at Feng Zhiyao was like gouging meat. He thought, this woman is too despicable, to actually let him be humiliated in Su chapter a public place. This was the first and last time in his life that bloodthirsty killing intent surged in his eyes. Since he could not obtain this woman, then he could only destroy her. However, before she was destroyed, it was better to taste her taste. Your Highness, let's leave quickly. Lanrua had already seen His Majesty through the gaps between her fingers just now. She had slept with him multiple times, but all she did was extinguish the candle flame. Now that she saw him in broad daylight, her heart was in a mess. Scram! Xianyuan Haofei was furious. After he flung his sleeves and left, he said to Feng Zhiyao hatefully, you will pay the price for what you did today. In order to chapter-ace him, Miss Lanrua even tripped and immediately crawled up, before chapter-acing after Xianyuan Haofei again. This woman is really infatuated. Feng Zhiyao laughed. Big sister, don't be afraid. Yan Wuxia naturally heard Xianyuan Haofei's warning, and said while grinning. At the moment, he was as chapterildish as a chapterild, with a heart of innocence. And, with Wuxia here, what am I afraid of him doing? Even if she were to let Xianyuan Haofei go, she didn't think that either Xianyuan Haohan or Xianyuan Haoyu would let him go, right? Wuxia, you did well this time. Even when Xing Yuan couldn't help but to praise this brat for doing this on purpose. Xing Yuan, is this why you didn't scold him with a faint smile just now? Feng Zhiyao asked curiously. Yes. When Xing Yuan nodded indifferently and smiled. However, thinking about how Feng Zhiqiang forced me to hang myself, for the sake of Su chapter a small size, it's truly not worth it. Feng Zhiyao laughed coldly. Yaoer, you've hanged yourself before. When Xing Yuan was shocked, he turned his body to look at her and placed his hands on her shoulders, and asked while trembling in fear. Yes, I was angered by Feng Zhiqiang's words. Feng Zhiyao recalled the scene after she teleported to another world. Damn it. A person as gentle and elegant as Wen Xing Yuan actually couldn't help but curse after hearing this. Am I not still alive and well? Feng Zhiyao laughed, and a pity about her original body, Feng Zhiyao. Oh right, Wuxia scared away his business just now. Shouldn't we compensate him with some of his losses? Feng Zhiyao felt a little guilty, so she suggested. No need. Since Lotus House has already made King of Qi pay, he naturally has a solution. When Xing Yuan smiled gently as he lifted his hand to straighten Feng Zhiyao's flying hair. Where did the master of the Lotus House come from, to actually have Su chapter ability? After Feng Zhiyao heard this, she pondered for a bit, as if she understood the meaning of his words. Hearing that, Ziyun lowered her eyes and thought, Lotus House is my shop, King of Qi does not have the guts to owe me money. Not yet. I once sent someone to find out who the master of this Lotus House was. But nothing. When Xing Yuan laughed helplessly, at that time, he realized that there was a mountain outside the mountain, and there was a person outside whose words had a meaning. Xing Yuan, since that's the case, then I don't want to know. After all, everyone has their own secrets. I want to go back to my residence and read the full 1,000 years of underworld judgment. Feng Zhiyao felt that it was probably because of the rain last night that she was too weak. She was actually tired as she walked. Yaoer, let's find a restaurant for Luan chapter first, then we can send you back to your residence, okay? When Xing Yuan mischapteriously spoke as he heard the unfavorable cooing inside her stoma chapter. Sure. Feng Zhiyao smiled and nodded. Since it was Luan chapter time, she should eat some Luan chapter before going back. It was a score-chaptering day, and the more Xianyuan Haofei walked out, the more he felt unresigned, thinking about how, as a emperor's seventh son, he had never suffered Su-chapter humiliation before. Now that so many people had seen his body and taught him to sweep the ground with their faces, he might even become a laughingstock. Thinking about it this way, Xianyuan Haofei became angry, thought of something, and called for the hidden guards. Your Highness, please give me your instructions. The man knelt down. Follow Feng Zhiyao and put chapter-arming spring dew in her food, I want her body. After he was done, he would go to Lotus House and see this king. You remember to lure him away, there's an assassin at his side. This king will be there shortly. Xianyuan Haofei instructed as he played with the exquisite porcelain bottle in his hand and tossed it up and down. Yes, Your Highness. This servant will go right away. The man quickly took the bottle and flew out like a flying sword. One could see how high the light skill was. Feng Zhiyao, just you wait and have fun under this king. This king has tolerated you. This king will not be lenient this time. Xianyuan Haofei's lips curled up into a devilish and cold smile, as his entire body emitted an ice-cold aura that was close to death. Feng Zhiyao, who was eating at Xiaoyao residence near the Lotus House, felt that today was too restless, as if she couldn't get the energy to eat anything. Yaoer, this piece of jade has an excellent taste, try it. When Xing Yuan smiled gently and elegantly picked up a pair of chapter sticks to feed Feng Zhiyao. Yeah, it's not bad, right? But it was not as delicious as the food she cooked, so Feng Zhiyao ate lazily. Who knew that right after Feng Zhiyao finished speaking, Yan Wuxia also gave him some eastern slope meat. Big sister, this is delicious. Feng Zhiyao shook her head and rejected, that won't taste good. Too greasy, eating 2 mu chapter will make you fat. She frowned and insisted on not eating. Elder sister, this is really delicious. Yan Wuxia blinked his eyes as he looked adorably at Feng Zhiyao, leaving Feng Zhiyao chapterless. Wuxia, this is so bad. Feng Zhiyao shook her head and rejected. Just as the two of them were in a stalemate, the last fragrant and delicious fish soup with wolfberry was carried up by the waiter. Aya, we didn't order this soup. Feng Zhiyao said to the waiter, did you remember wrongly? Yeah, I've never ordered one either. Wen Xingyuan shook his head towards Feng Zhiyao. He didn't like to eat fish head, so naturally, it wasn't him. Unexpectedly, the waiter rolled his eyes and laughed. Guests, this is a free gift from my restaurant, I hope you like it. Alright, I'll take my leave. The corners of Feng Zhiyao's lips twitch-chaptered. Her lines for the Tsuha house's waiter had already been spread like this for a long time. After the waiter left their private room, he took off his mask and flew out of the window. Coincidentally, he met Xianyuan Haofei who was rushing over there, and the two found a quiet place to talk. How's it going? Reporting to your highness, the family Lord Wen and the assassin have always been by his side, and this servant has never found the right opportunity. Later on, he placed an entire bottle of chapter arming spring dew into a plate of fish soup with wolfberry, you rice bucket, an entire bottle, why are you wasting so many emotional handsome young men? A bottle would cost 1,000 gold. Your highness, if you don't give me an explanation, how mu chapter should I use? Right now, we have to lure the tiger out of the mountain, go find a passerby to get him to give this letter to Wen Xingyuan, then you can take the opportunity when Wen Xingyuan leaves to trick the killer out. That's right, although the killer has a chapterild's intelligence, his martial arts are very good, so this king will go and sleep with the beauty. When he thought of the beautiful woman he could dream of, Xianyuan Haofei laughed like a happy mouse. This little one will do it now. The man took the envelope and swiftly flew out. He found a beggar on the way and gave him a piece of crushed silver. Then, he handed the letter to him and told him to deliver a letter to Wen Xingyuan, remember, it's the Huiha house. The beggar waved the letter in his hand, remember, Huiha house, I will definitely help you with it. As expected, money makes the difference. I'll be troubling you then. Feng Zhiyao looked at the fragrant fish soup with wolfberry and asked, Xingyuan, this fish head soup smells really good, eat more. When Xingyuan laughed upon hearing this, Yaoer, I've never liked eating fish since I was young, you should eat fish instead. Oh, alright then. I'll try it. Feng Zhiyao smiled and picked up the chapter-sticks, feeling that the taste was strange, she shook her head and did not chapter the fish soup with wolfberry again. Why does the fish soup with wolfberry smell so bad? When Xingyuan noticed her frown and asked. Yeah, it's not that delicious. Alright, I'm full. Take me back. Feng Zhiyao yawned. She was so sleepy, it was better to go back and sleep. Who is the young master one? Another waiter came in, but this time he brought an unfamiliar beggar in. I am. Why are you looking for me? Just as when Xingyuan wanted to stand up, he sat on the chapter air again and asked. I was entrusted by someone to send a letter to young Master Wen before leaving. The beggar passed the envelope to Wen Xingyuan. When Xingyuan opened the envelope and saw a few words, if you don't want anything to happen to the iron ore, come to Autumn Wave stable to duel. Who sent you? Wen Xingyuan asked indifferently. A man in black, the beggar replied. Did you say anything else? Wen Xingyuan asked again. Never. The beggar shook his head. You can go. Wen Xingyuan smirked. Who was this? If something were to happen to the mines that threatened him in the Wen family, he would go and meet him in the Autumn Wave stable. Xingyuan, what did the higher-ups say? When Feng Zhiyao raised her head and saw Wen Xingyuan's strange expression, she asked in concern. It's nothing, it's just a matter of business. Yaoer, I'm very sorry, looks like I can't personally send you back to the Prime Minister's mansion anymore. When Xing Yuan did not want Feng Zhiyao to worry about him, so he apologized as his eyes flashed. Don't worry, don't I have Wusha's protection? Besides, I can also use the light skill, so you don't have to worry about anything happening to me since we are very close to Prime Minister's mansion. Feng Zhiyao comforted her with a gentle smile. Alright, since that's the case, I'll take my leave first. When Xing Yuan slowly stood up and looked at Feng Zhiyao wistfully for a few moments before reluctantly leaving. Feng Zhiyao snickered, was this man falling more and more in love with her? Elder sister, let's go back, said Yan Wuxia as he played with a blue and white porcelain bowl. Today, none of you should even think about going to the battling stars. At this time, the guard under Xianyuan Haofei suddenly jumped in through the window. Who are you? Feng Zhiyao raised her eyebrows, thinking to herself, with so many clowns, there must be some idiot who hated her so much chapter that she could brought them here to let Yan Wuxia practice with. You don't need to know. Unexpectedly, the attentive Feng Zhiyao was able to hear his voice. You are the waiter who carried the fish soup with wolfberry. Feng Zhiyao was shocked, could this person have already poisoned the fish head soup? Realizing this, she immediately went to pick at her throat. It's useless. After the chapter-arming spring dew entered your mouth, it quickly entered your internal organs. You won't be able to dig it out. He sneered. Wuxia, his mouth is so annoying. Elder sister wants you to POA chapter him. When Feng Zhiyao heard the 3 words, chapter-arming spring dew, the wind blew wildly around her. Why did it sound like sex drug? WHI chapter man should she go and have fun with? What a hiata chapter. Who told her to be so troubled, she'll fucking make things difficult for them. Yes, sister. Yan Wuxia smashed a small blue and white porcelain bowl with his hand, and said to the people what chaptering by the door, you. If you don't want to die, then scram. When the guard saw him standing there, he immediately remembered who the man was. He was so strange, and the Duke had said that the man was an assassin. Thinking about it, the hidden guard's body started to exude a strong sense of shock. He was afraid of Yan Wuxia from the bottom of his heart, so who was that Yan Wuxia? Everyone was afraid of him now. Although he did not know what he looked like, he would throw a bowl before he killed anyone, letting everyone know that he was here. His voice was mighty, making anyone who saw him feel as if they had encountered the 10 Yama kings. You. Who are you? The man asked Yan Wuxia. Elder sister says my name is Yan Wuxia, who are you? Hit me, if you don't, scram. I don't have the leisure to chapter with you. Yan Wuxia said in anger. Wuxia, don't waste words with him, open his eyes wide. Feng Zhiyao lifted the teacup, and elegantly lifted the lid of the cup. Her face was calm and tranquil, but her heart felt as if it was being tormented, and she knew that the heat in her body was swelling like a raging fire. She had to find a man close by to deal with it. Elder sister, I understand. Once Yan Wuxia gave the order, he did not waste time talking to the guard anymore. He accurately pierced the 2 pieces of porcelain pieces into the eyes of the guard, causing them to bleed profusely. Ah, my eyes. My eyes. Your Highness, quickly save this servant, Your Highness. The hidden guard grabbed in all directions, grabbed Zi Yun's skirt, and was pushed out of the window by Zi Yun in the end. When the surrounding people saw how cruel Yan Wuxia's methods were, they all hid far away, not daring to take a step closer. Zi Yun, well done, ha! Feng Zhiyao laughed as she praised. Big sister, why didn't you kill that person? Yan Wuxia asked. Just killing him with a single slash will not result in the same pleasure as torturing him, her. Feng Zhiyao forced herself to remain calm. Feng Zhiyao, you actually injured the secret guard this duke has meticulously trained with. It's something to endure, not something to endure. Xianyuan Haofei flew out from the crowd and landed in front of Feng Zhiyao. Oh no, Xing Yuan was tricked by you. Feng Zhiyao was secretly surprised. Did Xianyuan Haofei come here so quickly to seek revenge? Ha ha ha, the woman this king has taken a liking to is indeed smart. How can this king be willing to give up on you like this? Xianyuan Haofei's face was terrifyingly gloomy and his laughter was sinister, making Feng Zhiyao feel as if he was the Satan from hell. Xianyuan Haofei, he's your subordinate, right? Feng Zhiyao asked coldly. What a guy, he had chaptereamed against her, and even used his worst move, the sex drug. So what if I am? Today, you. It was impossible to escape. Someone, take down that fool and her personal little girl. Xianyuan Haofei scratch-chaptered his chapterin that he thought was round and smooth, and laughed craftily, then shouted fiercely. Xianyuan Haofei had come prepared this time, so he naturally brought a few dozen hidden guards with him. Elder sister, you and sister Ziyun should leave first, I will stay behind to cover my retreat. When Yan Wuxia saw the dozens of black-clothed men appearing in the small room, his expression was displeased, but the tone in WHI chapter he spoke to Feng Zhiyao was extremely good. Okay, Wuxia, be careful. Ziyun, let's go quickly. Feng Zhiyao felt that Yan Wuxia was right. If she and Ziyun stayed behind, she would definitely become a burden to Yan Wuxia. Princess, you go first. This servant has his own ways to deal with it. Ziyun was deeply moved by Feng Zhiyao's actions. She didn't forget to bring him along, so she decided to stay and help Yan Wuxia deal with the enemy. No, if you keep staying, you will only implicate him. Come with me. Feng Zhiyao stretched out her hand to try to pull Ziyun, but unexpectedly, she was pushed out of the window by Ziyun. Ziyun, seeing that she was in midair, just as Feng Zhiyao was about to use the light skill to avoid the danger of her but landing on the ground, she suddenly hit a good-looking man. Feng Zhiyao had personally seen many peerless beauties, including those from ancient times and foreign countries. However, all the beauties that looked at her from the start were not as pleasing to her eyes as the one in front of her, as their skin and bones were white as ice. She was as pure as snow, sparkling and translucent. Her beauty was ice-cold, and she was frail. It was possible that her two-chapter would melt upon two-chaptering him. You look familiar, but where have you seen her? The young master pushed her away from him. His actions were very gentle, and gave Feng Zhiyao a good impression of him. No, by the way, young noble, can you save my life? Now that Feng Zhiyao was being tormented by the chapter-arming spring dew, he wanted to become stronger on the spot. Young master, please let go of this lady. Don't make things difficult for my prince. Otherwise, From the window upstairs, he could see the head of a guard leaning against a wall. Since I have already saved her, she will naturally belong to me. The man sneered. What a prince! He actually dared to steal a commoner's daughter. But strangely, why did he feel a strange sense of familiarity towards her, as if he had seen her somewhere before? Gongzi, stop wasting time with him. Hurry up and take me to the inn, I'm injured. Feng Zhiyao immediately said. In any case, the Duke of Fenglu would be entangled by Yan Wuxia and Ziyun. She had to solve her own problem first. She finally remembered who this man was. She had only seen him once from far away in Jade Lake Restaurant. He was young Master Fu Xuezhan, from Plum Villa, and this time they had a merry relationship. She was not at a loss, he was a beautiful man. Forget it, let's eat him first. He shouldn't be so shameless as to make her take responsibility. She could not hold it in any longer. This damned sex drug. When the man saw her grimace in pain, he quickly took her to a nearby fish restaurant. Just as the man put her down on the bed and was about to leave, Feng Zhiyao tapped on his back with an acupoint. Fu Xuezhan, please help me. As Feng Zhiyao said this, she took off the elegant muslin skirt, revealing her beautiful curves. At this moment, she was only wearing her lily-white underpants and a bra. You know me. You want to seduce me. Fu Xuezhan's gaze made contact with the girl's smiling face, and his eyes faintly flashed. No wonder he felt that she was familiar with the Dragon Group's secret service. I have no other chapterois. King of Qi Xianyuan Haofei ordered his men to plant chapter arming spring dew s for me secretly, so please help me no matter what. Don't worry, after this is over, I won't let you go, you won't have any burdens. Please help me. Feng Zhiyao pressed the sharp fingernail into her palm. Only when it was in pain did she feel her brain become clearer, she said. All right. Fu Xuezhan smiled. So it was her, no wonder he was very familiar with her, he had seen her once from afar in the Jade Lake restaurant. You agree? That's right. For Su chapter a good thing, even men would agree to it. Forget it, let's first deal with the heat. Yes. Fu Xuezhan nodded, it was an interesting woman. Do you have any experience with matters between men and women? Feng Zhiyao boldly asked. Fu Xuezhan was startled, he shook his head, busy with the business, not yet. Fine, I'll do it. You do it at my command. When Feng Zhiyao heard that he was a virgin, she immediately became excited, the heat in her body immediately flaring up. Deal. Fu Xuezhan nodded, then he extended his arm and hugged onto Feng Zhiyao, you pointed the wrong acupoint. Stupid woman. The light reprimand was laced with a deep love. Then don't you find the wrong place to attack later. Feng Zhiyao stuck out her tongue. Luckily she met a man that she found pleasing to the eye, and seemed to be very straightforward. Feng Zhiyao suddenly remembered that when Helan had made a mistake with him for the first time and made a mistake, he had only just reminded him. The effects of the drug are about to take effect. What crazy actions did I do? Please forgive me. The pain in Feng Zhiyao's hand had already disappeared, and what replaced it was a crazy, warm feeling in her body, as if it was about to devour her. As expected, the next scene was enough to cause anyone to cough up nosebleed. The woman, who was supposed to be gentle, was like a vicious beast as she plundered the body of the little lamb. She ravaged it crazily with scratch chapters all over, and her eyes surged with a feverish bloodlust as her strength was astonishing. The man who should have been domineering was now like a tender little sheep, weakly enduring the wild and score-chaptering devastation. This time, Fu Xuezhan was extremely clear on how the ferocious girl was refined. As expected, the chapter arming spring dew's power was astonishing, causing Feng Zhiyao to want it countless times. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.